I would like to thank you personally because I remember I had written my last law papers a day before the examination, and I think you were going through some medical issues. You were at the hospital, and you still took out time out of your very busy schedule, and then you checked
No,
those
not
papers
busy.
and you got
Actually,
back to
I
me.
had a kid. I had a kid, right? It was
Yes,
a
yes,
baby.
sir. Yes, sir.
So that's why
Yes,
I was
sir.
in hospital. Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Priyanka. So hope everything is clear, right? You can hear me nice and fine.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so Priyanka, congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir.
You have, made it to the list, right? And
Yes.
that is very remarkable. Now, each year that I do the same thing, right? That I talk all to the qualified candidates, right? And ask you, according to your, varied situation, different questions, right? So that persons who are in your situation specifically, right, they can get benefit out of it. Okay. So that was
Yes.
the structure. Okay. So first, Priyanka, tell me about yourself.
Sir, I'm born and brought up in Rourkela, Odisha, and thereafter I went and did law from National Law University, Raipur. I was fortunate enough to be the gold medalist in my college, and I had gotten a few pre-placement offers. However, after my graduation, I decided to do UPSC. So it was a late decision. It was not right from the early days. And first three attempts, I couldn't clear prelims. And in my fourth attempt, I could clear prelims and went up till interview final list, missed it by 10 marks. And I got through Sports Authority of India as an assistant director
Okay,
on the
that we
BCC.
have after you get the result and they yes, yes. I think
Yes,
you
sir.
also you or someone else messaged me, is this a good job or not, right? So that is a very good thing that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
So, yes, sir.
So you have, this was a third attempt, right?
This was my fifth attempt, sir.
A fifth attempt. Okay, three times you could
Yes,
not clear claims. Okay.
yes,
So again, it have been a quite a long journey, right?
yes, sir.
Obviously 4 5 interviews today itself, right? So
Yes,
most of the people I have seen that it normally takes 3 to 4 I mean attempts, not interviews, sorry,
yes, sir.
3 to 4 attempts, right? And specifically it peaks around this age itself, right? 4 to 5 years
Mm.
you go into that. Okay, so that is again the same thing here also. Okay, so when did you start preparing in the National Law University only or later on?
No, sir. After graduating, I started preparing properly in the year 2019. So the first attempt at prelims that I gave, it was an unprepared attempt. So it is a wasted attempt. I realized it later that should not have taken that attempt. And just to understand the nature of the exam, and I went ahead and gave prelims, couldn't clear it. Only after that exam is when I started preparing little seriously. But all throughout, I have been preparing from home. I did not join any coaching,
Any coaching?
and yeah.
Yeah, that is
So
especially for GS, you do not, seek any help, right? And
yes,
that is
sir.
remarkable. See, another thing that I, maybe at this point people might not agree, but what I feel like, especially in prelims, right?
Yes, sir.
Someone from UPSC comes and see all the coaching materials in Karol Bagh, right? And then they
Yes, sir.
decide not to ask anything from them.
Yes, sir.
Sort of, yes. Give very interesting. Okay. Now, again, another thing that I would like to ask, with regard to different subjects, I suppose. Okay. So be
Yes,
very,
sir.
very, not very precise, be very elaborative in the answer, right? So that people would
Yes, sir.
get help from it. So, how did you prepare for this constitutional law paper?
So for constitutional law, I actually refer to Dukkis. Initially, I started referring to V.N. Shukla and all those heavy books, and then
Then you realize.
later did realize that it is a very futile attempt, should not do that. And then I started consolidating my preparation, refer to Dukkis, and prepared notes out of them. And so that was all. Matlab, prepare notes out
The
of Dukkis, that's
ultimate
it.
aim was to educate itself, right? Nothing more.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Good.
sir. That's it.
Good.
And so,
But
but for contemporary developments in constitutional law, for that I refer to the recent judgments which have come. That is through Supreme Court Observer.
my CC website, yes. That's very remarkable.
Constitutional law is one area where a lot of contemporary questions are being asked in recent times. So having a good knowledge of that case law as an arguments and judgment is important. So for that I refer to live law and Supreme Court Observer.
I think we also, gave that list of cases, based on that live law.
Yes, sir. That was very helpful. I'll be very honest. It was very helpful. In the end, I did refer to that
Because,
consolidated
it
booklet.
was nothing, it's simply consolidation of all those, the
Yes,
material
sir.
that you
Yes, sir.
that is quite helpful. And if you can refer
Yes,
at
sir.
least one or two case law, that is really very.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so what about international law?
So international law is one area where I faced a lot of problems starting out because it is not something that I had studied properly back in law school. And when I started, the nature of questions and everything was very different. So for that, again, refer to the keys and few areas. For that, I referred extensively the internet, which is say the nuclear law aspect or TRIPS, WTO. That is somehow overlapping with GS as well. However, specifically the legal part, I did refer to the internet for this one. So that's it.
Okay. So that is again, quite good. Okay, now let us come to paper two, right? Mostly people struggle in CLD. So what did you do for CLD?
So for CLD, I think I don't know if this is a correct strategy or not, but I took CLD very seriously because last year I could not. So that was one difference that I made. That I studied each and every act properly and had made notes on each and every act. I prepared my own notes. So every act I would prepare notes. I would refer to PYQs, and then if there is any very important recent development which has taken place, then I would capture that.
Right.
So notes on every topic is what I did.
That is in fact a correct approach, right? In fact, last
Mm.
year, you could not qualify. I think that was the reason because you have, multiple in the CLDs. The question
Yes,
arrangement was such a manner that if you had left it, almost 40 marks you could not do in paper,
correct.
right?
And
So,
sir, you end up writing things which are not relevant. So you need that crisp material which you can refer. And to add value, you need to cite section numbers. You need to write one case. So if you don't have that material, we end up writing generic things that we do in GS, and that does not fetch marks in law
in a very
because you need
important
to.
case, right? Instead of writing
Yes,
text, you write a
yes,
very
yes,
important. And that is
yes,
that is
sir.
correct. Okay, so that is actually quite helpful, right? That is, something people should do. Okay,
Yes, sir.
what about Contract Act?
The contract act, I refer to Dukti, I think, for contract. And I also had notes from college for contract act.
Is a
It
very
was
much of
my strong suit. And also, sir, there is this Bangia's book on contract law. There
circular.
is a summary of the contract act in the last couple of pages. They have provided a summary. That is also a very good ready reckoner. That is also something I refer to. For section numbers, which I did not have cases on, I would go back and just pick one or two cases from
And what
that
about
summary.
the Special Contract Act that we have, like, NIE Act, Sales of Goods Partnership? What did you do for that?
Sir, I did prepare notes. So this time, that is again something I changed this year. So even for Partnership Act and Sale of Goods Act, I made notes from Bangia itself. So Bangia, which is contract two, it is huge. So it is not possible to revise that in the end moment. So I refer to PYQs and figured out the important repetitive areas from which they are asking questions. And I prepared notes on those areas. So I had those literally 2-3 pages notes on sale of goods act and partnership act, which I could refer just a day before the examination. NI act, so my preparation was not very solid, but I did have some section numbers, some differences between various instruments, which are generally negotiation, assignment, all of those things. I did prepare certain
So this
notes
time
on
you
the same.
prepared very nicely, right? You did not left
Yes,
any
sir.
area unattended, right?
Extensively. Yes, sir.
That's very good. That's very good. That's why the result, right? That's why the result. Yes. Okay. Now, I also one thing I also have noticed, Priyanka, if you think about it, right? Previously, it used to happen, right? Like in crime, if you study
Ah,
crime case body, 50% is covered. But now that is not the case.
yes,
Almost
sir.
from every topic, they're asking one or two questions, right? So that is
Yes,
something
sir.
you cannot escape. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, how about crime? From where did you study crime?
But again, for IPC also, I refer to the Dukti
Right.
and made notes out of it. And for that, I did not even refer to the current development. I mostly just stuck to Dukti and revised it. And I think only for Prevention of Corruption Act, which is there, and Civil Rights Act, which are the last two pointers of the crime law. For that, I refer to the act and one or two articles on the same. Legal Service India articles and other. That's it.
Perfect.
But apart from that, purely.
Nothing. Good, good. Okay, so now let us come to the little bit of a strategy part rather than this part,
Mhm.
right? Now, obviously, almost 6, 7 years, right? So, uh, what do you suggest to the candidates? Because this is a loop, right? Almost 5, 6 years of your life.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes.
how to cope up with this, such a long gestation period? How did you cope?
So for me, I think what really worked was family support. It is very important to have the set of support of family is there, but also a set of friends who also are there for you at all times. I think I had those set of 3, 4 friends that I could rely on. My parents were very supportive. My grandfather was very supportive. So that is something that worked for me, I feel. Apart from that, I think, sir, more than motivation in this exam, I think discipline is something that is very important. I think because we all want success from this process and we look for motivation here and there, but motivation is something that will last only for a month, or that is also maximum that it can last for. But I think just setting a mind ki karna hi hai and there is no other option, and you've made a decision, you have to stick to it. So just getting up and following your routine and just doing what you're supposed to do. So
Yeah.
there is, because there are times I did feel extremely demotivated. I questioned my decision, that, should have I done this, because I had another career that I could have gone to. But those thoughts are something that my discipline and my routine helped me come out of, because ultimately पढ़ के बैठना ही है. After 1 hour, you have to sit with that thing. You have to complete it. You have to write your paper. So those are the things that will help you come out of those low phases in life. That just stick to it, trust the process. Everyone says trust the process. Trust the process, something or the other will come
Right.
out of it.
Yes, I
Yes,
was,
sir.
very rightly pointed it out because, especially for non-law graduates, it is easy to, sort of concentrate here because the options are limited. But for law,
Yes,
obviously,
sir.
there are a lot of options, right? If
Yes,
you
sir.
go to law, the options are limitless, right?
Yes,
So in
sir.
that case also, you sort of, obviously there would be much pull कि अच्छा चलो कोई law firm join कर लेते हैं sort of.
हाँ, yes,
But
sir.
still you did it, right? So that is something, quite interesting. Okay, and what about this whole overlapping of GS with law optional? I mean, which area do you think you focused more and that helped you in both, GS paper two as well as law optional? Any overlapping area, and how did you handle that?
Sir, I think constitutional law, polity, if you see, I did not have to prepare for GS2 much, polity aspect of GS2, the governance to a certain extent, but majorly polity aspect of GS2, because I completely relied on my constitutional law preparation. If we see the recent papers, last 2, 3 years, trends are that they are asking case laws, they are asking legal philosophy in GS2 paper. So there, that is something that we can gain an edge in, which was not the case earlier. Earlier questions were very GS oriented and law questions were very law oriented. But these days, if you see the GS2 polity questions, you can't even make a difference whether it is a
The
law
GS
paper ka
question.
question or whether it is GS2.
Agree.
So that is definitely something that helped. Actually, not just that, even ethics, I think we can cite certain cases and certain article numbers in our introduction from our legal knowledge, legal philosophy, jurisprudence, something that can help even in ethics. So law has been the base, and that has helped me in GS2 also, GS4 also, FA also, because there also we use some, because legalistic dimension is created, and you can write 1 or 2 paragraphs on that, which will be different as opposed to other people. So law ka preparation has helped overall, but I haven't strategized in a way that I will not be reading this because I'm doing. Apart from polity, there has not been any such bifurcation that I've created. Um, Overlap that I've created rather. My preparation for GS and law has been pretty distinct. But I have used my legal knowledge in various papers of GS.
What type of answer you wrote? I mean, more legalistic in GS paper two or sort of generic?
Sir, questions were very legalistic. They are asked case laws. So I cited as many case laws I know. So I did not restrict thinking that it is a GS paper, so I should not seem like a legal professional. So that is one thing. But few things like, say, there was a question competition commission, a competition law ka one question, and I'm unable to recollect the other questions. But apart from that, if there is any polity-based question, I tried. If it has not been specifically asked to cite case laws, I would not go ahead out of my way and cite case laws. I would strictly stick to the demand of the question and write the answer. So majorly generalistic. But wherever they have asked for case laws, I would write. I would use my legal knowledge to my benefit.
And how about interview? How was your interview? I mean, obviously you told me, but still, because this will go on YouTube. Yes. So
Yes,
how was
sir.
the interview? What were the major question asked?
The interview was decent. Major questions revolved around my experience in Sports Authority of India, my state, and little bit of law. Law, they asked very basic questions, very basic questions. Difference between law and rule, difference between negotiation and mediation, conciliation. And I think so. Majorly, you have delegated legislation and whether it is, a law. And what is the difference between delegated legislation and normal law? So they are very fundamental questions on law.
So which
So
ordinary law
yes,
graduate would know, right? So
yes,
those sort of
yes,
things.
yes,
Okay, okay. Yes, so that is the few things that I wanted to discuss. Now, obviously, the mark sets are not yet out, right? But still, I will
yes,
request
sir.
you, right? Once mark sets are out and once you are in Delhi, right? Obviously, joining के लिए तो आना ही होगा, right?
Yes, sir.
When you come, right? So come and let us have a sort of a with the students, right? Let's have a discussion of half an hour or so where you should
Yes, sir.
at least tell them how to prepare for laws, right? I mean,
Sure, sir.
subject wise, what did you study, what approach that you took, right? So
Yes,
you
sir.
please come once let the mark sheet come, right? Then you please come whenever you come
Surely,
to
sir.
Delhi, not specifically for this, right? So whenever you're in Delhi
Yes, sir.
come and
Yes,
have
sir.
half hour or something like that of the class, right?
100%. I would like to thank you personally because I remember I had written my last law papers a day before the examination, and I think you were going through some medical issues. You were at the hospital, and you still took out time out of your very busy schedule, and then you checked
No,
those
not
papers
busy.
and you got
Actually,
back to
I
me.
had a kid. I had a kid, right? Actually,
Yes, yes, sir.
yes.
Yes, sir.
So that's why
Yes,
I was
sir.
in hospital. Yes.
Yes, sir. And sir, it meant a lot to me because it shows your dedication, and no wonder so many students here who have taken help and guidance from me. So
Thank
thank
you
you
very
so much
much.
for
Thank
that.
you very much,
Thank you so much.
for coming.